Hello, FlimsyLunchTray here with you today, and I'm going to get to the point quickly in this video, and then I'm going to ramble for a bit, so hopefully you stick around for my rambling. But we are getting ever so closer to 1,500 subscribers, and I would love to reach that goal. And it's been awesome having this community, this YouTube channel, as it's what keeps me going. And being able to provide this content, and every now and then checking things out and doing some different type of games, and like we had with PC Building Simulator, and then a little bit with Armored Warfare, but primarily still sticking with World of Warships, of course. So this is me putting a challenge video out to reach 1,500 subscribers if you're not subscribed already. And then talk about what I would like to do upon reaching 1,500 subscribers. And that being, I would like to do a community day and playing with all of you. So what I'm thinking right now is that I would do a stream on YouTube. Maybe Twitch, it just depends on the timeline of it, but YouTube, where I'll be streaming, just playing with you all on the NA server, and then also on the EU server doing, could be operations is what I'm thinking, just an ops day, community day with Flimsy myself. So it could be something like 3 hours on the NA server, doing scenarios, operations with you all, and then switching over to the EU server to do another 3 hours with those of you here in the EU community, because I feel a little more attached to the EU community since I don't live in the European Union, but I live in Norway and Scandinavia. So kind of have attachments both places per se, and moving here from the US. So I would like to do that once we reach the goal of 1,500 subscribers. So once we hit a 1,500 subscriber goal, I put out a poll, or I just announce, hey, on this Friday or Saturday, we're going to do the stream, and you can div up with me and play some scenarios and operations. So yeah, so I don't think I need to discuss that or drag that out any further, but I'm gonna have some Amalfi footage playing in the background, and then I guess I'm gonna turn this a little bit into a lunch with Flimsy, or like just sharing life, how things are going. I have to be honest, I'm a bit bewildered as I sat down to record this video. So part of life in Norway, there's two funny things, or two fun things, I guess. One of these is just really weird. So in being in Norway, when I order things from Amazon, naturally I don't order things from Amazon US, but they have Amazon UK, Amazon Germany. And I don't know if they have another type of Amazon, but like, so, you know, in the US we have Amazon.com. If you're ordering from Amazon Germany, which is what Mrs. Flimsy and I use, it's Amazon.de. And we don't always get things from Amazon Germany or order things online much, because it's just, we have to pay quite the additional fee expense in getting things from Germany, and just the shipping fees into Norway and out of Norway is quite expensive, especially Norway US or US to Norway. But anyhow, there's some things I really like that's just easy, and I get to be very specific in having a wider range of options to purchase on Amazon versus here in Norway for some things. So not too long ago, I purchased a long Ethernet cable for my PC. I wanted to have a nice corded braided one that did really well performance. So I ordered it, and I was like, hey, I really like that one. I want to order another one for my laptop if I decide I want to run Ethernet cable off of it sometimes. So I guess it was just a little over 2 weeks ago, I went ahead and I put an order in for this cable. And how delivery works here in Norway overall is that things do not always come directly to your address. If you're buying something online, particularly if it's too big to fit in your mailbox, then normally what happens is that send it to the local quote-unquote post office, which here in Norway, the post offices are attached to like your grocery store, typically. So like, what's an example? Not that one. Brunpris is one of them, and then there's another one that Mrs. Flimsy and I often have to go to. It's not Europris. I'm completely spacing the name of it right now, and it's driving me crazy, so I'm looking it up on my Google Maps. Extra is the name of the store. So typically, when Mrs. Flimsy and I have things and they get delivered, is they typically go to a local Extra or a Brunpris, or sometimes even a Rema-1000, which is another grocery store. So I had to go pick those things up. So anyhow, I had a package. I got texted today that the other package I had ordered arrived at the local Brunpris. So I just went and picked it up a little bit ago on the way back from the meeting I'll tell you about. And so when they handed me the box, I looked at it to make sure I had my name on it, and it felt weird, like there was books in it, or like I'm just expecting it to be a cable, not quite like this. And I guess it's not technically a box that didn't get delivered in. It's like a large cardboard envelope. So anyhow, I'm sitting with Mrs. Flimsy, and I decided to go ahead and open it so I can inspect the Ethernet cable that I've ordered. And I opened it up. It's not an Ethernet cable. It's 2 books, and not only are these 2 books, in these 2 books, neither of them are in English or Norwegian, but they're 2 different books in Spanish. And so I try to use Google Translate and figuring out what the heck these books are about. This one has a picture of a car on it, and when I use Google Translate, it says the world seen to the 80 years impressions of an arteriosclerotic, and I have no idea what that word means or if Google Translate even translated that correctly. So it's really weird, and it's not even like, so the world seen to the 80 years, you think it would be like pictures in the book, and there's no pictures in the book, it's just all words. And then the other book is written by a Juan Jose Melas and a Juan Luis Asuaga. And it's the death told by a sapiens to a Neanderthal. And so it has a picture of a butterfly on it, and then half of it's like fossilized into a rock. So I don't know. So it was like, I literally just opened the box before sitting down and recording this video. So it threw me for a loop. So I felt quite thrown about that. And then the other thing is, I went to a meeting here in the local commune, or I guess municipality, I don't know what you call it, in the city. It is a meeting in English about buying a home or looking to rent properties here in Norway, particularly in our local city landscape. And there's a lot of information. Like, I feel like buying a home in Norway is so much more complex, and so many more rules and regulations, a lot more laws that protect the buyer, protect the seller, and certain criteria that have to be met versus buying a home in the Midwest. And not only that, buying houses, I mean, if you lived in, let's say, a small farming village, or like far away into the mountains, like not near major cities, like the housing cost for homes, I say, is much more, for me as a Midwestern coming from Indiana, I say more reasonable. But buying homes in the larger cities, I mean, Oslo is ridiculous to begin with, but Mrs. Flimsy and I live near Stavanger, Norway, which is the 4th largest city in Norway. There's like over 135,000 people that live in Stavanger alone. But if you include Sandnes and the other local cities nearby, like, we would technically become the 3rd largest city, residential area in Norway. And homes here are just so expensive. I mean, they said, I think in 2002, 2007, that like the cost for homes was increasing astronomically. Like you could buy a property, then I think he said 6 months later, like the cost, the price of your home had increased by 20%. He said it was an arrow just like basically pointing up. So it's like learning all these. Yeah, I have. Where'd it go? I took my notebook with me and I wrote down all these notes. And then you also have to learn, you know, for me, I'm learning Norwegian, so I can speak some Norwegian. I understand more Norwegian than I can speak. And you have to learn all this key terminology of buying a home in Norwegian, in norsk, versus engelsk, English. You know, so key terminology of like the different types of homes. I think if you have a freestanding house, it's called a enebolig. I think I just butchered that. Or like, I think a townhouse is like a rekkehus. You know, so all these things, and then the energy ratings homes can have, and how they list. So they have this website in Norway. It's called fin.no. So like, no is like the domain name we have for Norway. But fin.no is like crazy good, and you can buy homes, or homes can be listed on it. It's like, for my American audience, I would say it's like Facebook Marketplace, but on steroids and like way, way, way better. I mean, I don't know if it's even fair for me to compare Facebook Marketplace like in the Midwest to fin.no, but fin.no is like crazy good. And so they list a whole bunch of information on there when you go to buy homes, and different terminologies, and like, yeah, there's just like so much information. So I had this meeting, it was like the almost 2.5 hour meeting. So my brain's a bit racked by that. So then I decided to be, I had written down that I wanted to do a video announcing that I had a goal of reaching 1,500 subscribers, and I would do this community day with you guys and gals, and playing ops together. So there's, you know, it's not just a limited division of 2 of you joining, but you know, they could be running a whole division. And just enjoying time with you all and helping build this community channel. So I feel like I'm cheating a bit with that being like a short announcement video. But I guess those of you maybe are more interested or like want to learn more about Flimsy's life in Norway, whether it be buying through Amazon Germany and not even getting the items that you had ordered, or like learning of buying a home in Norway. It was an interesting day. I'll put it that way. So what's going through my head now, because now I have to figure out what the heck happened. Why did I get these Spanish books versus an Ethernet cable? And then did someone at the Amazon warehouse in Germany put these these 2 Spanish books in my package, and then the person who's expecting to get these Spanish books is getting an Ethernet cable? Like, how did that happen? So I guess I have to figure that out tomorrow, Thursday, or I guess maybe Friday when I actually have more time to figure that one out. So yeah, so just one Ethernet cable, get Spanish books, and yeah, Mrs. Flimsy and I are beginning the process of learning about home buying as we drill about buying a home in Norway and somewhere in the Stavanger region, or outside the Stavanger city limits, and just how expensive homes are and how many laws and things, which is nice. Like, so for example, like so here, if you're underneath 34, which they didn't talk about this during the meeting, but this is what I read online, maybe it can vary, but if you're a first-time buyer and you're underneath the age of 34, you don't have to have if I'm using the right word, equity, or like X amount of funds you need to be saved up into the bank. So if you're 33 and younger, and some of you know I just turned 30 a couple weeks ago, you only have to save up 15% of the total cost of what the home would be. Now, granted, 15% can be a lot depending on whatever your total price is for the home. And then your loan for a home, and if I know I have a Norwegian audience, so if I say something wrong, please correct me in the comments, because I can check regions of my viewer audience. But then a loan for a home what the bank is willing to loan you, can be 5 times a max amount. The limit is 5 times whatever your annual salary is. So let's say your annual salary, as an example, is equivalent of 30,000 US dollars. Then that means I would be able to get a loan for 150,000 US dollars max, and I can't get a loan greater than that. So that's nice because in one way that it protects, so it's not like you're not buying something beyond your means, that you go into this crazy amount of debt in buying a home. But it also can affect you or it can be limiting if you're wanting to actually buy something that's a little bit beyond that 5 times annual salary. But again, like homes in Norway, they're just so much more expensive, or here in the Stavanger region, than compared to the Midwest where I was renting. And Mrs. Flimsy and I are renting now. We have an amazing place that we're renting right now. It's just fantastic. But you're just throwing away your money renting long term because you don't get any of it back. It's just you're not able to invest any of it. And so when I look at, so Mrs. Flimsy and I have been renting this place now we're staying at for over 3 years, and I look at how much we've paid for renting in just the last 3+ years. I'm like, man, just imagine having that to go towards a home, or like down for the 15% or the down payment, and getting a property, as I'm struggling here trying to figure out where I should be shooting this airport or the aerodome here on Cherry Blossom, as I guess the match is about to wrap up here. So I didn't know I was going to ramble for this long. I thought I was going to ramble shorter. So long story short, Mrs. Flimsy and I are trying to figure out what it looks like buying a home in Norway. And we probably won't be buying one this year, maybe next year, maybe the year after, I don't know. It just depends on finding the right property that it meets all the criteria and what we're looking for, which feels like a lot with some of the plans that we have in Mrs. Flimsy's occupation and being an artist and wanting to do business from home too with that. So needing to have the space for that, and family, and location, close to work. It doesn't be super close to work, but then also has to be, what was the other word I was thinking of? School. Eventually Miss Flimsy and I start having little Flimsies. There's a school that we know we want to send them to, yada yada, so on and so forth. So anyhow, if you help with reaching the 1,500 subscribers, you could be playing Cherry Blossom with me here in World of Warships, as you get to see a short glimpse of the post-battle results. So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you did not, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you subscribe, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed my rambling to learn more about Flimsy's life today on this Tuesday Tuesday as a recorded video. So take care.